Hello, welcome back to Data Leaps. In today's video, we're talking about how to approach changing roles or moving jobs in a structured way. Instead of just taking any opportunity that comes your way, you want to think about it in a bit of a framework. Now, in the last video, we covered how to figure out what your dream job looks like or what your North Star is for your career. And that's a pull factor. And this video is more about the push factor. Analyze your current situation and think about when to move and where to move to. If that video is about the destination, this video is about every step of the journey there. Without further ado, let's go over to my laptop. The first thing is, you definitely want to leave a job before it gets too bad. A lot of the bad things with a role or a job is accumulating over time. You don't want to wait until a point that it's tipping you over the edge and you just throw in the towel and go, I'd rather go drive Uber for a living, or I'd rather go stack shelves in Tesco for a living than working here. You want to get out of a job before it gets too bad for you. And really, you should do this exercise that I'm doing now on yearly basis and do an evaluation on yearly basis rather than just on the edge of a burnout, on the edge of like, I am definitely leaving this job. So how to approach this, how I typically do this is to draw a line in the middle and then say what I like and what I don't like. And then you want to draw a line again and then say, this is about the role itself. And this is about everything else. So everything else meaning like the processes, the culture, the people, and so on and so forth. So like everything that's outside the role, not role specific. So you map out these 4 things, and that dictates what you can potentially do with your next steps. For instance, if you like the role and you like everything else, there's way more things you like versus you don't like, then what's coming out of the quadrum is you potentially want to stay where you are, right? You want to do the same role and you want to stay in the same company. In this scenario, you want to think about potentially staying in your role and getting to the next steps, potentially getting a promotion, potentially climb the corporate ladder. So you want to think about, okay, what is the gap you currently have between where you are now versus your promotion, and think about how to bridge those gaps. Now, what you might find, I like the role, but I don't like everything else. I don't like the processes, I don't like the people, I don't like the culture. And what that will come out with is basically same role, but different company. In that scenario, it's very straightforward, right? You already know how to do this role, and it's about potentially going to a different company and doing the same role. So you want to think about who you need to talk to from that company you potentially could go to, and find out about the processes, the culture, the people, their hiring criteria, what is it like working there? Can they give you a referral, so on and so forth. So if what you've mapped out is you like the role and you don't like everything else, you can potentially stay in the role, but go to a different company. And because you already have the role experience, going to a different company should be relatively straightforward. It's just about, building your network, building your brand, and building your exposure again in a different company. Now, what you could find is you really like everything else. You like the culture, you like the processes, you like the people, but you hate the role. right? Like maybe your role is bottom of the food chain. Maybe what everybody else doesn't want to do end up being the responsibility of your role. I don't know, maybe you just are not a good fit with the job description. So you want to get out of the role, but you really, really like the company, you like the culture, you like the benefits, whatever else you like, then you potentially want to stay in the same company, but do a different role. And in this case, what you want to do is to, again, do that North Star exercise that we did in the last video, and think about what's the right role for you, what's your North Star. And once you map that out, if your current company offer that role, you can go to that team and talk to the hiring manager, talk to the people in that team, see if they have an opening, see what's their hiring criteria, see what's the way of working there, what's the job description, if you can potentially be on the hiring radar for that role. If you figured out staying in the same company doing a different role is what you should be doing because you don't like the role but you like the company, then figure out who you need to talk to and then do the homework to make that happen. Now, in the case you're like, I really hate the role and I also hate really everything else as well. I hate the culture, I don't like the people, I don't like the process, I also don't like what I'm doing day to day, then you need to do a bit of a step change, which is the fourth quadrant, to say, I'm going to do a different role and a different company. Technically, that will be the hardest route to take because you're going to have to convince a different company to hire you for a role that you might potentially haven't done before, right? So again, you want to do that North Star exercise to figure out what your career goal is, what your dream role looks like, and you might not have done that role. So you're going to go to a different company and say, I will be really good fit for that role. It will take more convincing for that company to hire you to do that role. But if you are successful in doing that, potentially that could be a really good step change for your career, getting into something that you really enjoy doing and getting into a different company that provides potentially better cultural fit and better team for you to work with as well. So depending on your mapping for your current situation is you could end up in one of the four options. And what you want to do is to decide which one of the options you land on and who do you need to talk to, what homework do you need to do to actually make that happen. Again, do this before you're desperate to move out of this role. Otherwise, it's very easy to say yes to the next job that becomes available. For every LinkedIn recruiter that's coming to you, the default answer should be no. And you should be thinking about what you want to do because the LinkedIn recruiter will only look for people with similar job titles with what they're looking for. They're not going to provide you with career progression. They're not going to provide you with career planning. You have to do that yourself, right? You have to map out what you want to do and then hunt down the jobs that you want to have rather than wait for someone to hand your dream job to you. Right, that's it. That's a very quick video on how to think about changing roles or moving jobs. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching Data Leaps. If you think the content is useful, please like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it.